Welcome to Part 3 of our online Facilitating Adult Learning course. In this section, we're going to take a look at questioning and its role in effective learning facilitation. At any time, you can pause this presentation using the video controls, and you can also go back to repeat anything you didn't catch. Make sure to keep notes for yourself as you go through the information. Learning how to ask the right questions is an important part of the three-step cycle for effective facilitation that we introduced in Part 2. We are going to talk about the science of questioning, how to craft questions to measure the depth and breadth of learning, and the art of questioning, how to ask questions in a way that keeps participants engaged. As a Girl Scout facilitator, when you're using a prepared design, you may add questions to enrich the discussion according to the needs of the group, the objective, and time. Try to relate questions to the situations that a Girl Scout volunteers may come across. Let's brainstorm some questions for your learning participants. For example, if you're an outdoor leadership facilitator, imagine that you just covered fire building. What questions might help debrief the topic and also keep the participants engaged? What if you're teaching a basic intro to troop management session and you've just gone over the process of getting girls registered? Can you think of questions to make sure a new volunteer is clear in understanding his or her responsibilities? Let's look briefly at different kinds of questions, since different topics and different audiences will call for different questioning techniques. There are close-ended questions, which usually can be answered with 1 to 2 words, and open-ended questions, which can lead to extended discussion and exploration. Factual questions, based on fact, usually have a definitive right or wrong answer, while cognitive questions demand more thinking, analyzing, comparing or contrasting, and may have multiple correct answers. Value questions are based on personal preference, opinions, or values. So when using value questioning and all questioning, be sure to respect the contributor's risk-taking to share. Application questions are how we move from knowledge on paper to the practical, real-life use of the information, as in that ask yourself questions throughout this learning session. When we ask you to think about how to apply each topic to your own learning sessions, evaluation questions are used to assess activities or behavior in order to know how to make improvements. For a challenge, press pause and try to match each question on the screen with the category of questions that best fits. Remember, your options are close-ended questions, open-ended questions, factual questions, cognitive questions, value questions, application questions, and evaluation questions. Ready for the suggested answers? Note, these are suggested answers to each type of question. Interpretations of what the questions are asking may influence the determination of the type of question. There's a reason that we've said there is an art of questioning. Think about a teacher or an instructor that you admire. You can picture how that person is able to successfully ask questions and lead a discussion. Sometimes it's not as easy as it looks. Default pitfalls are common mistakes facilitators make when asking questions. You can turn them into positive facilitation skills. Let's look at some common pitfalls and tips on how to avoid them. When you ask a question that might have multiple correct answers, resist the temptation to accept the first answer as the only correct answer. When you ask a question that might have multiple correct answers, resist the temptation to fish for what you think is the correct or best answer. When you ask a question, allow participants enough time to think before they answer. Resist the temptation to answer for them. When you ask a question, feel comfortable asking follow-up or probing questions to help the participant more fully explain his/her thinking. When you ask a question, be sure it's not too simple or too difficult for your audience. Thank you for following along with us in Module 3 of Facilitating Adult Learning. Keep your notes for your own references, and when you're ready, continue on to Module 4.